Hello and welcome to ChiroHD. I'm so excited to take you through this quick overview of some of the new features and some of the things that you'll be using on a regular basis. So we're just going to dive right in. Now, when you log into ChiroHD, the first thing that you're going to see is this flow screen. You're going to see the scheduled column. If you do have patients scheduled, they will show here. Any patient who has checked in at the kiosk will be in the arrived column. After they are arrived, they will be assigned to an adjusting area by a CC or perhaps a doc. Once the SOAP note is either drafted so if the SOAP note is not finished and the doctor just drafts it, or if the appointment is completed, the patient will be moved out of the adjusting area and into either the draft or the completed column. So that's the flow screen. Now, I'm going to show you what this looks like in practice. So the patient arrives at the front desk. They type in their phone number, 10-digit phone number. Whether they have an appointment scheduled or they're just walking in, they will be moved to the arrived column. From there, the CC or the doc will move them to an adjusting area, and they will walk to that adjusting area. Now, when you come in the morning, you'll log into ChiroHD as you normally would at the adjusting areas, and you'll click SOAP Patient Mode. Now, this is going to pull up this screen where the patient will enter in their birthday, and it will pull up their SOAP note screen. You'll see the patient's name, date of birth. You'll see their visit history, case info, the patient snapshot, which we'll go over in more detail, but the snapshot gives you just a quick overview into what's going on with this patient, how many available adjustments they have, etc. Now, you'll have more macros here, but just for the sake of this quick demonstration, I'll walk you through. So when the patient arrives in the adjusting area, the subjectives will automatically come up. So it's going to ask them their area of discomfort. They're going to check off, select their answers. Are they better, the same, or worse than last time? Let's say they're worse. Okay, so we have our subjectives in. Next, we're going to put our objectives. I'm just putting random stuff in here. Next, we'll do our assessment and plan. I'm just going to say what was adjusted, select that. And whether hydromassage or other is indicated. So if we're doing hydromassage, we're going to select here. If not, we're going to select here, and I'll show you what happens. So when I select hydromassage, I'm going to select those answers, and the charges will automatically be populated. So obviously your prices are going to be a little different than this. I just threw these prices in here for my test network. Your prices will be different, but you have your adjustment, hydrotherapy, and those are added from the SOAP note macros. So when I put in my SOAP note, that is when the charges are going to be entered, okay? So if I save as draft, then the charges will be posted and the patient will be drafted. The patient will show in the draft column, right? If I submit, it's going to automatically complete that patient and it'll be ready for the next patient to arrive. So it's going to bring this screen right back up at the adjusting area. And as soon as the SOAP note and the charges are there, the patient will be automatically marked as completed. All right, so next, now that we've gone through the appointment flow, next we're going to go over the patient snapshot. So the patient snapshot is what will appear here on the left in the queue as soon as you click on a patient's appointment card. So you can see the patient's appointment card opens up their patient snapshot. So this patient snapshot gives you quite a bit of information. It's just what it sounds like, a snapshot into the patient's information. You're going to see any tags that the patient has. We'll go into more detail on tags, but you can add new tags or see their existing tags here. You have a shortcut to the profile, to the bulk scheduler, tasks, alerts, transaction history, visit history, documents, and the transaction modal. You will not be using this transaction modal very often, but if you ever sell like items, like inventory, you'll be able to use this transaction button. Most of your transactions are going to happen from the SOAP note screen and in the kiosk. You have the patient's name, their patient ID, their birthday, phone number and address, and you also have some visibility into which plan they have going on, or if they do not have a plan. So I'm just going to click on this patient's plan. Let's say that I'm going to choose the 2-visit plan, and I'm going to charge it to this card. When I click submit, that's going to be added to their patient snapshot, and you'll see the available adjustments that they have here. Once they use one of those adjustments, it's going to deduct one. So this patient snapshot is going to give you just a lot of visibility into how many visits they have left. We also have this note box down here at the bottom. Now you can change colors. These colors are used in many different ways. I'm sure that NuSpine will give you some instruction as to how to use these colors. But for example, we have a lot of clinics who will use pink if the patient is pregnant, or black if the patient is, on a PI case, or red if they're really talkative. So just some ideas on how you can utilize that note box. So that is the patient snapshot. Next, we will go into the patient profile. So I'm just going to click on this button here to open up the patient's profile. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention is that if you click on their phone number, you can initiate a 2-way texting conversation with them. So if you want to text with your patient. All right, so I'm going to open up the patient profile. So first of all, we have the patient tab. The info tab is where all of their demographic information is. Financial tab is where you can see their saved cards and recurring billings. These are pulled directly from Fortis. We have alerts. We will have custom alerts that will trigger anytime a new patient arrives, and anytime somebody has not been in around 8 weeks, to trigger, just to prompt the office to give them a re-exam. So those alerts will be set up here. We'll create patient alerts from template, and you will choose the template. We also have patient tasks. Patient tasks are anything that need to happen during a specific appointment. So for example, if you need to make sure that you upload a profile photo, get their card saved on Fortis, and send them their paperwork, for example, you can create those tasks right from here. And if you want to add multiple items, you can have as many as you want. Add a description. You can assign them to a user. You can put a due date, and you can even create a patient alert that will display on the kiosk when the patient arrives. Now, tags are used for grouping patients together. For example, I always recommend wellness tag, corrective care tag. I recommend a pregnancy tag since we don't have a report for pregnancy. With tags, you can add a tag to any patient and run a report for who has that tag. Next is family management. I won't go into a ton of detail because we do have a training video on every one of these. But the family management tab is where you can tie patients together. So let's say that Harry Potter and Severus Snape are family, and you want Harry to receive the text reminders for Severus as well as himself. You can text out of house, you can call them together to an adjusting area, etc. So you would list the main phone number for the family and decide, which family members should be tied together. Now, monthly payments, you're not really going to use this tab because you'll be using Fortis, and all of your recurring billings will be right here in the Fortis contact. To manage them and to view them, you'll use the financial tab. All right, now cases, you are primarily going to have cash cases. This is just a place where you can put their chief complaint, their care notes, any diagnosis codes. You're not really going to use default patient rates, recurring charges, that kind of stuff, because again, your charges are tied to the SOAP note. You'll view all transactions that have happened on this patient's case. And you have your settings here where you can change the name, calendar provider, or billing provider. Next, the transactions. This is just a record of all of the transactions, payments, charges, all of it on the patient's profile. Visits is a list of all of their SOAP notes. If you would like to print their SOAP notes, you can click right here under Care History, and you can print all of their SOAP notes from one place. You can view the note from here. You can change the status of the appointment. You can change the date. And you can even create a SOAP note on an adjustment that is missing one. Future appointments, this is just a list of all of the appointments that they have in the future. You can cancel and delete appointments from here. In the future, you will be able to manage a lot more from this screen. Scheduling is our bulk scheduler. This is where you can schedule them out for up to a year of care, or more, actually. Last on the patient profile is documents. You have your uploaded documents, digital paperwork submissions, this is where their paperwork will go, and thermal imaging if you would do thermography in your clinic. The nice thing about this documents page is you can drag a document directly on top of this and it will upload it. Same with the snapshot. You can drag something right from your desktop, drop it on top of the snapshot, and it will upload into the patient's profile. You can also upload documents just by clicking upload. You can browse, drag and drop, name it, list the document type, file date, and if you'd like to assign it to a case, you can, but that is not required. Finally, we have another way to get to the transaction modal, statement of account and super bills, open their Fortis contact, print a list of their appointments, print their SOAP notes. If you ever have issues with Fortis not syncing payments, you'll click this button. And then the patient app setup, this is just a way to send their invitation to the patient scheduling mobile app. You can also see their note box here. You can also see it on the provider screen. So you have the note box here, and then chief complaint care notes and DX codes down here are tied directly to the case. All right, so that's the patient profile. Next, I'm going to show you how to create hours on your calendar. Now, when you first log into your calendar, you'll either see this setup here. This is one view. You also have this other view, which is provider view, which looks a little bit different. If you're in provider view, the create schedule button is here. If you're in tab view, it's right here, but it's the same gear icon. Now all you're going to do is you're going to click on your gear icon, you're going to click on your provider schedule, and you can create your hours. We do have a detailed training video on how to create your hours, but we also have templates that you can utilize, so I'm just going to grab a template for now. What this means is that there will be 4 columns from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Those are our hours. Those are the hours that we have open. We're not going to take a break for lunch. If we were, it might look something like this. We're not going to take a break for lunch. You can also have some spots that have only 1 column, or some spots that have 10 columns. Let's see, the last hour and a half of the day, you just really want to crush it, 2 hours rather. You really want to crush it and see a lot of patients. And again, you know, you're mostly doing walk-ins, but if you do want to utilize a calendar, you can also change the background color of the calendar. So I'm just going to add some of these and then I'll save it so you can see. And then we'll just do this column here with just 1. Okay, I'm going to save that. And now when I close this up, I'm just going to click the gear again. You can see that this has completely changed our schedule. So the way that you should read this calendar is you have columns from top to bottom, and you have slots from left to right. Each one of these little rectangles represents an appointment. So you can schedule up to 10 patients at a time here. You can schedule 4 patients at a time here and 1 patient at a time here. You can also schedule outside of these hours, so you can click into the gray and overschedule. You can also click this number here to overbook. But each of these represents a square where the patients can be scheduled. And the nice thing is that if you'd like to schedule a patient, so let's say I'm scheduling Harry, and you schedule that appointment, family members will show up when you go to schedule. I realized I didn't save Severus as a family member for Harry, but when you go to schedule somebody, it'll show all of their family members, and you can schedule them all at the same time here. So I'm just going to put both these appointments here, and now you can see Harry is scheduled. When he arrives, he'll check in, he'll be removed to the arrived column, and you'll go through the patient flow. Scheduling new patients. So when somebody calls in and they're ready to schedule their new patient appointment, you'll simply click on the calendar at the time you want to schedule. So let's go to tomorrow. Let's go to tomorrow. I'll click on the calendar, and you're going to click New. This is automatically going to default to your new patient appointment type. You'll put the patient's information in. Make sure you grab their birth date and their phone number. So let's say January 1st, and phone number is 222-222-222-222. You'll also have to put in a referral source and schedule that appointment. And the patient will show right here on the calendar. Now, when you schedule that appointment, a new patient email will be sent out. So they will receive that new patient email. Scheduling re-exams, same thing. You'll click on the calendar. You'll change the appointment type to re-exam, which obviously these are different from what your appointment types are. But let's see. Do I have a re-exam in here? Looks like I do not. So let's just say decompression, okay? You'll look up the patient and you'll schedule them. And they'll show right here on the calendar. Now, in order to create users, you will be creating your own users for your employees. So this is under settings and then users. We do have a detailed video going over all of the little things with users, but this article is also very helpful. If you click on the little question mark, you'll click create new user, choose what kind of a user they are. If they are an administrative only user, they will not have access to the SOAP note screen. So I'm just going to select chiropractor for now. They do need a login. They do not need a calendar. So you'll never create a user with a calendar in the NuSpine network. Now you have two options in the location. You have location admin and location user. Location admins can change settings in the location. Location users can only use the calendar, access the patient profile, post SOAP notes, that kind of thing, but they can't change any settings. You'll add permissions, and you will choose the location that they have access to. Next, you'll put in their information, email address, phone number. You can leave address and provider information blank, and when you click create user, they will receive an email so that they can create their password. Next, a couple of things that I would like to go over are just some of our reporting. So first of all reports and all reports beta are where the majority of your daily reports are going to be. So I'm just going to open the reports beta. So your daily reports, we have collections, sales report, tips report, which you will not use. We have clinic reports, insurance report, and accounts receivable. Patient statements are here. You can find a list of patients by anybody who has a certain charge, anyone who has a certain appointment. You can do a birthday report, search for patients by tag, by DX code, by case type, or by case balance. And you can also search by service or inventory item, by payment type, and new patient referral income. Now, the All Reports tab has a little bit more. So we've got several different categories. We go into a lot more detail on the reporting in our training course, so look for that. But I do want to draw your attention to the simple reporting screen. This is going to be just sort of a bird's eye view on what is going on in your clinic. So the collection summary is going to show you all of your income, and it looks like we don't have any in this clinic, but it will show you your income, including any refunds, and it will categorize it by type with a total at the bottom. Sales is going to show you your sales. So you have your different kinds of adjustments, how much hydrotherapy, totals, and then your patient amount, write-off amount, insurance amount, tax, and the total here. And this will include inventory. Appointments is going to show you an overview of what's going on with your appointments. How many are scheduled? How many are walk-ins? You're going to have a lot of walk-ins in your clinics. Missed appointments, canceled appointments, and completed appointments. Next is statistics. This one I love because it just gives you so much visibility into your marketing. You'll see new patient appointments, stayed in practice percentage. So this is people who stayed in practice after their new patient appointment. Chiropractic visits, total visits, average dollar amount per visit, charges, insurance, patient amount, refunds, total collections, and insurance percentage. And then this one, the marketing analysis, shows you what's going on with your leads. So how many leads are you getting from this patient referral source? What's your period collected? How much are you collecting over the lifetime of the patient, etc. So you can also expose new columns and hide columns. So for example, you don't do insurance. So we're going to hide the insurance collected. We're going to hide the insurance percentage, and we're going to leave it at that. Next, another one that I love is the health check. This checks for duplicate charges, appointments missing charges, patients without future appointments. And this one you will not use, so we won't waste time on it. We have the call list, which allows you to search for patients who have certain appointment scenarios. So an adjustment that was completed or a new patient appointment that was completed, you can generate a list and give that person a call. Task list, I told you earlier about tasks. So you can assign tasks to a patient profile. You can filter by user. You can see what's only past due, or you can see all. And obviously there are none in here, but this is where you would see the active tasks. And we do have a more in-depth training video where you'll see what this looks like in practice. The pending and active report will show anybody who has not had an appointment in 90 days. New patient retention, this just shows you what percentage of your patients are staying for at least 5 visits. And finally, your patient list. All right. So that is everything that I wanted to cover on this just quick overview. I don't want this to be too long, but please take a look at the training course that you've been provided. All of those videos will be extremely helpful. There is a lot in there, and we're just really excited to get you guys started with ChiroHD. Please feel free to use our support channel. This little chat widget down here at the bottom is going to get you directly in touch with our support team. You can also search for answers yourself. So we do have a knowledge base where you can find answers. You can just type in a keyword, like let's say you wanted to learn about texting. You can just type in the word text and it'll come up with all the articles that mention that. But the best way to get in touch is this one on the right, and that will get you directly in touch with our support team, who are amazing humans who are so helpful and wonderful. So I've loved this. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to get to know all of you.